everybody, and thanks for joining us for the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsay Smith here with Saul Bookman, Gerald Bourget, and Espo. Yes, everybody, we're finally at full strength here at PHNX. Are you guys so happy about this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
At least we are.
Great game to come back at full strength.
Did I miss anything?
No, not really. But it's a little bit of deja vu today. I feel like we're kind of in for a little bit of a repeat of what we saw on Friday because the Suns and the Pels are going to be facing off yet again this afternoon. And I am, for one, not really looking forward to this game.
It's all right, though. You get a break from the Pelicans until next Saturday when they're
right.
here. So tempers will calm down by then, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm actually excited for this game because I want to see how the Suns bounce back. Obviously, I didn't realize how much these two teams hate each other.
Dude.
But apparently they really, really do hate each other. So that's cool. I like that.
Even Willie Green, Mr. Nice Guy, seems to have a little anger towards the former team.
I don't care who you are. When you move on to another place, like, you're just going to feel a certain way about your former place. Like, that's just who it is. So, like, I know everybody loves Willie Green. Cool. But to see this side and how everything's going down, I'm cool with it. Like, it should be expected.
Right. And Monty's talked at length about how competitive Willie Green is when they were on the same team.
He cried when he lost last year.
So, like, this matters to these guys, especially since the Suns sent them home last season. It's to be expected. And honestly, like, the Suns shouldn't have been surprised the way they were so physical, the way they came out on Friday. It's not surprising at all.
Well, we'll get into all the beef between these two teams and our fan bases here in just a little bit. But first and foremost, let's recap a little bit of that game on Friday night. Obviously, the Suns lost 128-117. What do you guys think the biggest culprit was in that loss that needs to be fixed for tonight's or to this afternoon's game?
A roster lacking the ability to deal with the size and athleticism.
I said that can be fixed, Espo. That can be fixed.
Hey, I don't think there is a way you can fix what ails them against this team. They're bigger, they're more athletic in key positions that the Suns just can't match up with, and that's the problem here. So until you do something with the roster, you can't match up with this team.
Right now. There's one particular guy that's bigger and more athletic. I will say that. Listen, Zion's he's a force. Like, you got to figure out how you're going to try and combat his force. And I think there was a couple just lapses overall defensively by the Suns. And I don't think listen. Zion's got freaky athletic ability, yes, but there was also some just technical breakdowns that they had the other night that they could fix. I think they can fix those. It's just, okay, now on the offensive end, what are you going to get today as well? And, you got DA and CP3 actually showed up offensively, but outside of that, not much was cooking. So you got to figure out that side of things too.
Yeah, I'm eager to see how the guys kind of respond without, being shorthanded out there. And I'm looking specifically at Mikal Bridges because you look at the last 3 games, 11 points, 4 points, 13 points on a combined 10 of 35 shooting. Like, he's got to be better. Like, they need him to be more. So I'm looking at what a Chris Paul-led team is going to do, and I'm looking specifically at Mikal and DA as far as stepping up and shouldering the offensive load.
Well, look, if you want a serious what can you fix this game, the bench has to step up. You can't get outscored like they did with the bench. I'd like to say the free throws, but you're looking at the team with the second worst rim efficiency in the league versus the team with the best rim efficiency getting to the rim. So, that's problematic right there, and I don't think that fixes overnight. So it's going to have to be the bench that steps up. But, guess what? One of your bench guys has to slide in the starting unit once again. So.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about that, and then I want to pose this question to you guys. Well, 2 questions. First and foremost, let's look at the injury report for tonight's game. The Suns are still without Cam Johnson and Dwayne Washington Jr., but added to the list is Devin Booker. He's going to be out with left hamstring tightness. We talked about this Friday in the postgame show. It did look like Devin was having issues there later in the game, and then he didn't close out the game for the Suns. Monty pulled him. On the Pelicans side, they're still going to be without Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones. So we know that Dario Saric is starting. So first question, how
Why?
do you feel about this?
Look, it's a little strange, and I know Monty's talked about, Dario's been working his tail off and he deserves minutes. I don't know about starting him unless you are planning to play DA on Zion to try and match his athleticism and strength and hoping Dario can hold his own against Jonas. Like, that's kind of the only reason that this would make even a little bit of sense to me. Because if you put Dario on Zion, he's going to go for 50 today. Like, I love Dario, but he is not quick enough to stay with that dude. Very few people in the NBA are, so it's a little strange.
I mean, all necessary love to the homie, but your starting lineup is Chris Paul, Dario Saric, Mikal Bridges, Torrey Craig, and Deandre Ayton. We're in the darkest timeline. Like, this is not a starting lineup that you should have out there. And Monty said, well, I want size against Zion. You got a guy that's bigger in Ish Wainwright. If I'm going to go this route, I probably start Ish over Dario. I don't like this at all. Even if he's against Valanciunas, he's giving up a lot of height and a lot of size still to Valanciunas. So you've created a secondary problem now if you're switching that defense. This is a game where they're going to have to find a lot of grit, a lot of toughness that wasn't there on Friday on their end, and find a way to impose their will, because it's not going to come out of pure just being the better team than the Pelicans, because I don't think the talent's there tonight for the Suns to be able to say that.
I just think they're going to have to get creative with their matchups, like throwing double teams, trying to figure out if you're going to mix it up, even go zone from time to time. This is not the type of individual you're ever going to match up with one-on-one. Like, he's just a freak in that way. He can do a lot of different things. So you got to get creative and not let another guy like Valanciunas beat you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the only play here. I don't think one-on-one. Listen, this roster is the roster. It's it's not the greatest. Throwing Dario in there is a head scratcher, but maybe Monty's got something up his sleeve. I don't know.
Okay, so my second question was, Gerald, what you brought up. Do you throw DA on Zion tonight? We did see that as a strategy in the fourth quarter of Friday night's game. Do you think that could be beneficial for the Suns in this one?
I think that's the only thing that makes sense defensively, because if you're putting Dario on Zion again, he's going to get burned. And even DA, like in that fourth quarter, there were a couple of possessions where Zion just got loose for a poster dunk. Which he's going to do. Inevitable. Right. He's going to do that. Like, he's just that. He's got a quick first step. He's a monster. But at the same time, that's going to be routine if Dario's on him. So I'm hoping that's what they're doing defensively. And then offensively, obviously Dario is not best suited as a 4, but he can spread the floor a little bit with a 3-point shot. So it's not terrible. But again, I would have rather gone Ish or even play Biz. I would have gone with a double big lineup like that.
Well, because that's how they played it in the fourth the other night when DA was on Zion. They had, I think it was Jock out there as the second big for a majority of that time. People are like, oh, well, Dario gives you better offense. Dario's shooting 44% overall and 34% from 3 this year. I know it's small sample size theater, but I think a lot of people are remembering Dario before the injury, and this isn't the same guy right now. He's still trying to work his way into it. So I don't know that your offense is significantly better than if you had gone with the second big and tried to be better defensively. This is going to be very interesting to watch, and another gamble that Monty's taking that feels more like it's about his heart and wanting a guy to perform better than the actual basketball logic of it to me.
Well, it is. It's also about spacing too. I don't think they should be starting Dario in this spot, but he does give them spacing in a way that if you're playing Biz, you don't have that. Ish would still provide that spacing. He's been pretty good from 3, but there's no good options here at the same time. They don't have anybody on this roster without Jay Crowder that you can put on Zion anyway. So you're kind of just trying to throw shit at the wall and hope something sticks.
Yeah, I think Jay would have gotten his ass pushed around by this guy too. So
I don't know.
It'd be better than where we're sitting right now for sure.
He's a fucking freak. There's not one guy in the NBA that can single-handedly match up with Zion. Like, he's either going to beat you speed-wise or he's going to beat you power-wise. Either way, you're fucked. That's why you got to do it as a team, not as a single individual. And so that's why I feel like the Dario thing is not that big of a deal, because it's not going to be a one-person show. Everybody's going to have to contribute to slow him down and then recover to Valanciunas, so those two are off the boards, and then force the Pelicans to shoot from the outside. Because if you don't do that, you're going to lose the game anyway.
I would you're giving up. I don't know. Offensively, you're going to have to find ways to get Damian Lee in there and try to score. You're going to hope Josh Okogie is the guy we've seen in this little bit of a stretch.
Josh Okogie, the knockdown 3-point shooter?
Yeah. I don't know how that happened, but I'm
here for it.
So, I mean, Suns have lost 3 straight, which hasn't happened since 2021. He's shooting well. I don't know what's going on at this point, but I think he's a guy that's going to have to contribute tonight. You're going to need even Ish off the bench to find a way to probably have a hand in this.
Yeah. Hey Dot in the chat said this team just needs to play feisty defense. Yes, but also will we be allowed to play feisty defense?
They better. I don't even care if they're allowed to.
Do we run the risk of losing, guys?
Be physical today. Like, send a message that you're not going to be punked after being punked 3 games in a row. Like, this team has become they used to be the hunters, and now they're the hunted. Now they have the targets on their back. They were the ones that used to smash teams in the mouth, talk a lot of shit, salsa dance, have no respect for the teams that were above them in the standings in the years prior. And now all these teams are gunning for them because they know that they're not going to hit back. Like, you need to hit back today. Even if you don't win the game, even if you send them to the free throw line a bunch of times, show a little fight today, especially without Booker out there.
It reminds me of when Larry Bird called his team soft in the NBA Finals against the Lakers. And then what happened the next game? Kurt Rambis went up for a dunk and got clotheslined into the 4th row, and a big old fight just started. Now, we probably won't get that today, but honestly, like, I'm kind of getting tired of guys like Alvarado, Pat Bev, that continuously try to punk the Suns, and nobody ever just, hey, listen, a tee's a tee. You might have to whack somebody on the face or give them a nice little, do it. Fucking do it. And don't back down.
Yeah, make it clear you will not be pushed around. Because this Pelicans team on Friday looked like they had the confidence that they could get anything at any time against this Suns defense, and they sure got to the free throw line like it looked like that.
There is that kind of underlying kind of vibe that you're getting from the NBA about the Suns, is that, like, they can talk a lot of shit, but they're kind of soft, and you don't want that rep, because if you get that rep and people feel like they can really do that to you from a mentality standpoint, they're just gonna continuously go at you and try to get at you every single time, and that's not fun to deal with.
All right, a couple more things before we continue on with this conversation. Jerseys tonight, Espo. What are the teams rocking?
Yeah, we got a bland matchup tonight. It's the Association Edition for the Suns, the all white, which is they've gotten their teeth kicked in when wearing this year. Yeah, they're well sub 500 in them, and then you've got the Icon Edition, the blue with the gold trim for the New Orleans Pelicans tonight.
And also, one last tidbit for you. Congratulations to Devin Booker, who got his jersey retired at Moss Point High in Mississippi yesterday. They took a bus, him and some of his teammates and some of the Suns crew, down there to have a little ceremony and a gathering and celebrate Devin.
Let me ask this. What the hell was Moss Point waiting for?
That's a great question.
No, it wasn't Moss Point. It was Devin Booker.
Did he say?
Yeah.
Did he say you got to wait till we lose 3 games in a row before I come down?
He had said that they had tried to do this, but there was just never a good time during the season to be able to do it. So this was a rare back-to-back on the road in the same city, and they were able to make it because it's only like 100 miles away, I think, or something like that.
I mean, it's quite the cool honor to have at any level have your jersey retired or be honored in that kind of way. So.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's a lot of love there. The shoes that he released a few years ago, like it goes back and forth between these two places, Book and this high school, and he always gives them proper love and proper attention for helping him along in his career. So that was a cool little nugget to see come out from this weekend. Okay, one thing from the chat that I do need to bring up real quick. Steven said more furniture needs to get a footrest for Lindsay for Christmas. Funny you should mention this, Steven, because we were literally talking about this before we went live today. Like, look at my little feet just like dangling over here. Like, I just need something to like set them on.
A footrest is a great description of what she needs for sure.
Yes, I need a footrest. Absolutely. Okay. And then we have a super chat from Frank. Need to play like it's playoff since Booker is out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's be specific. Not like the Mavericks series.
Oh my God. You had to go there, didn't you? You had to go there.
You got to be specific.
That's tough.
All right. Now that we've gone over majority of the details as far as tonight's game or this afternoon's game, listen, I'm going to say tonight. You just know what I'm saying, okay? Who you got by how much?
I got Suns by 5.
Okay.
I've got
oh, how the tables have turned.
I've got Pelicans by 4.
Oh, shit. That's
I
funny.
got Pelicans by 9. This is a Devin Booker-less Suns team with no answer for their best team. I do not see this turning out well today.
To be fair, I made my pick before I knew Booker was going to be out, but yeah.
That doesn't make it sound any better, Gerald.
I mean,
We're not homers here.
Are you saying the numbers should be higher?
I would
what you're
probably
saying?
change it to higher. I would probably change it to
Oh, I
like 8
see
now.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have the Pelicans by 5 too. I know I gave you a lot of grief on Friday in the pregame show, but I just don't feel good about this one. I don't feel good about anything right now.
Well, clearly, chat, we already know that the Suns are going to win because I was the only one that was right the other night.
He was.
Just
Listen,
so you
at
know.
this point, I'll give you flowers for that. If the Suns win, I will give you all the flowers because I'm here
Hey,
for that. I'm tired of losing. I'm sick and tired of losing, you guys. This is awful.
We've always wondered who Pugs and Hugs was.
Mhm.
Well, now it appears that he was one of Shane's pledges in college because can we scroll up so I can read this as it disappears? Well, I said I was when I was a pledge, Shane used me as a footstool. So there you go.
All right.
That's rough. Bugs.
Also, Hello says, haha, Espo said he's not a homer. Yeah. Did I not just like go on an epic rant saying this, that they need to do shit on Friday? Like, I'm not a homer. I'm a realist here, all right? When I said they were the best team in the NBA, the numbers backed it. They were literally the best team in the NBA at the time.
Saul, you look like you have thoughts.
Go for it, Saul. Let's go.
What's on your mind,
Come
Saul?
on.
How
I
you
mean, I
feeling?
think we're all homers.
Yeah.
I'm not a homer.
This is called a PHNX Suns show.
It's not PHNX indifference. Like, no, it's
I
the
like
Suns
that.
show.
Can we have a show that's that? Can we make
Oh
that
my
a thing?
Hold on. There's a difference between being a fan and outwardly being a fan and being a homer. I full well admit I'm a huge Suns fan, but I'm going to call bullshit when I see bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the difference between a homer says everything nice all the time. There's never anything wrong.
Okay, yeah, I give it to you.
Yeah, there
All
we
right.
go.
All right, now that we've got that settled, Espo, what does Vegas think about tonight's game?
Vegas thinks I'm not a homer either. No, they have the Pelicans favored by 5 tonight. Suns
This
plus
has gone
5.
up quite a bit since this morning, right?
Well, yeah.
Books.
Devin Booker worth a lot here. But if you're feeling like Saul, you can get a plus 165 on the money line for the Suns to win, which is a rarity. You're usually not getting a plus on the money line for the Suns.
All right. So what are you guys thinking as far as bets you're going to put down on the DraftKings Sportsbook app?
I just wanted to go with the easiest fucking thing I could think of. So I got plus 130 Suns scoring a 2-point field goal first.
Okay.
I had Pelicans to hit the first field goal at plus 155.
So here's the thing. When I was on the DraftKings Sportsbook app earlier today, I think at like 10:30, there was not a single Suns player listed on any of the player props. I had to wait until like almost 11:30 for something to show up. And it was Chris Paul and Mikal Bridges were the only, no, DA might have been on there too. But it took a long time for them to put any Suns players on player props. And this was the only plus that I could find. And so I said, well, book's out. Mikal might have to facilitate a little bit more tonight. Let's just see if this one hits.
Remember
Mikal
to use
Bridges
that
over 2.5
promo code
assists.
PHNX.
Plus 100.
Use the promo code Homer if you want an extra discount.
Psycho Hawk said, is there a betting line for free throw differential?
No,
LOL. If
no.
only we would make
There
so
should
much
be.
money on that.
There should be.
We would always pick the opponent and we would make all the money in the world.
Free throw
Okay.
over under would be a fun thing to to bet on number of free throws.
I kind of would be, actually. I wouldn't mind that. Because sometimes I do wish that there were like some new fun player props. Like they have really great options, but after 82 games, you're like, I kind of just wish there was like a Gatorade one.
What would you like to see?
Like something fun, like the Super Bowl where you can do like the color of the Gatorade or something. Like, I don't know what that would
Color of
equate
player
to.
Shoes.
Yes, there you
I'd
go.
be down for that.
Something like that would be kind of fun. Just like really random ones.
Shoe props.
So like when you're in a slump like we are now, you can still have fun on a tracking sports workout without it like hurting your heart a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
Okay. So we've talked a lot about the beef between these two teams, but let's really dive into it, okay? Because we knew that there were some hard feelings from the Pelicans towards the Suns. We knew that the Suns also threw a lot of shade at the Pelicans in years past, right? I think this all started in the playoffs this past season when Chris Paul called Jose Alvarado basically a hoe. He said Alvarado hoe, which to me, you know, he kind of basically called him a hoe. But they took that seriously.
And Devin Booker laughing his ass off when it happened.
Oh, he smirked. He didn't laugh his ass off, but he smirked. He smirked. He wasn't like...
that was a podium laugh. That's laughing your ass off at the podium. You're choking that laugh right there.
So there is some serious beef going on between these two teams and their fan bases. Let's first start with these pictures that were posted to Brandon Ingram's Instagram stories Friday night after this game. He shared quite a few photos from the Pelicans accounts with extra commentary underneath. So he called the Suns a really mean name. Said stop playing with us. Okay, you can read it for yourself on the screen. And then when he posted the kerfuffle that happened at the end of the game, he added the commentary that Willie said, "Come on, Cam, I really know you for real," implying that campaign sucks and Willie knows it. So then he also went on to post Zion as the player of the great game and said, "Shaq, Kobe, shut up, and F ya." So that was throwing shade at Book and DA.
Big talk from a guy who didn't play in the game.
But this just goes to show how deep this is.
Yeah.
If you have a guy who didn't even play in the game, putting things out there like this after that game, the whole team hates us. They all hate us.
I mean, Brandon Ingram can shut the fuck up, like all the way, because like he's come on of late and he's played very good. He's been a good player. Not a great player. He's been a good player. Last year during the Suns, I was like, is this dude about to go from good to great? Because he was balling his ass off. But for him to sit there and talk about and try to hate on what other people were calling DA and Booker is just the stupidest shit. It's just so stupid. Like, get out of your feels because you lost in the first round, you fucking bum. That's all I gotta say.
Again, like players in the league talk shit. Suns sent them home in the playoffs. It doesn't surprise me. And like, again, if you don't want people to talk shit, if you don't want people to dunk on you in the final minutes, win.
Yeah.
Look, I think, and maybe I'm just weird, and we know I am, but if I were an NBA player, I'd want my opponents to hate me. That means I've either played really well or have gotten in their head. And those are the two things that you want to do to your opponent. You want to own real estate in their mind, and you want to beat them. And that's what the Suns have done against most of the league for the last year and a half. So I think the hate is warranted, and they should want it. They should welcome it.
Yeah.
And they should own it and go out there and back up their shit.
Right. That's the part that bothers me. You got to back it up.
Well, let's be clear. Okay, so you're saying like basically if you don't want people to talk shit about you, then beat them. I totally agree. However, I think there's levels to this, as Gerald would say, and I think the way Brandon Ingram came across is like, really, like that's, you have to go there, like calling people pussies and fucking like. There could be a little bit more civility to this if you want to talk shit. Just be better about it, and also play in the game. No. Like, don't co-sign from the fucking bench or the stands. Like, if you're playing the game and then talk your shit, I'm cool with that.
My point isn't if you don't like it, beat them. My point is you should want people to think of you this way as a professional athlete. And there's this great quote from Rick and Morty that I don't care about your boos because I've seen what makes you cheer. That's how I'd feel as an athlete. bring it on. Boo all you want. I've seen what makes you cheer, and I got the people that like me. I don't need you.
Honestly, I think players like being booed, to be honest with you.
Guys like Devin at least do. We've seen him notoriously play way better in opponents.
There's a charge you get when people are booing the shit out of you. I should know.
I know on Twitter. I'll tell you that much.
We do have some Pels fans in the chat right now. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. We're not mad at you, just so you know.
We actually appreciate you stopping by. There were some Pels fans that said very nice things about our show in the comments from Friday. They said, we hate the Suns, but the show was really well done. Good work, guys.
Well,
it's like, all right, well, feel free to come back.
Wasn't here. You're about to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, like we're not mad about all of this stuff happening. It's just kind of something that we're going to talk about because it's entertainment that goes along with the sport that we all love, and it's a topic of conversation right now. So,
and I think that's why a lot of Suns fans are so upset, is because they recognize the Pels are doing exactly what the Suns did,
and it doesn't
feel
good.
They were a young team that didn't give a shit about what other teams had done the year prior. They were out for blood. They were on a mission. Like, now the Pels are number one in the West. And like the Suns made that a same type of rapid jump like that. So it's like, all right, hit back now. We need to see some fight out of this team.
So some of the best NBA champions have been villains. The Lakers dynasty, the Spurs dynasty, the Pistons, the 3 times they've won a title. There's nothing wrong with being the villain, and the Suns should embrace that, and that comes with people hating you.
Yeah. And the thing is that, like, as the villains, everyone's going to celebrate even harder when they beat you. Like, every single team over the last couple of seasons, when they are able to beat the Suns, they go crazy. And I get it. It was the same way with us, right? Like, and I'm not saying the Pelicans are a bad team. Obviously, they are a great team this season. But like when we were in our dog days and we would find a way to like beat the Warriors, we lost our ever-loving minds because it was like we needed something. Right. And everyone wanted to beat the Warriors too. And I'm not saying the Pelicans are grasping for anything right now, but beating the Suns is fun. If the roles were reversed, and we were the Pelicans and we beat the Suns, we would be acting the exact same way. We'd be so stoked about it because there is a beef there. There is drama and like heightened competition. So I totally get it. But as the Suns, you got to recognize that everyone feels that way about you in the league right now. And so you got to learn to take one on the chin, or like Gerald keeps saying, don't let them beat you.
Yeah. We'll just have to wait to see how Pelicans fans react when Dario Saric hits that flat-footed layup with 1 second left in this game, and the Suns win by 8. So,
okay, and then the last thing here is that there was a kind of discrepancy going on Twitter. There was a conversation, a debate, if you will, as to who started the drama at the end of Friday night's game, because we got a different angle from a fan who posted the entire like post dunk shenanigans on the internet. So let's watch that and then break this down, because a lot of people were saying that Alvarado is the one who actually started the drama with Chris Paul, because initially we were told Chris Paul, it seemed like he went over to the Pelicans bench to maybe say something about the dunk. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
When you look at this in slow-mo, it looks like Alvarado goes at Chris Paul because Chris Paul passes him to like run up the court, and as he's doing so, he elbows Alvarado in the shoulder. And so then Alvarado's like pointed it out, and then everything kind of breaks loose after that.
Well,
that's from my
angle. What this shows to me, though, is everybody post game and into yesterday morning was talking about, oh, the Suns were just angry because of the dunk. You know, this shows that no, this had more to do with the extracurriculars, because nobody even reacts when he dunks in this video.
No,
it's not until Chris Paul and Alvarado go at it there a little bit, regardless of who starts it, that causes all of this. So to me, that at least answers the question that this wasn't about, unwritten rules and a dunk at the end.
Which is disappointing, because to realize that it kind of just stemmed from Chris Paul taking a cheap shot and then Alvarado getting in his face, and that it wasn't like, okay, we finally had enough. That's kind of disappointing. But whatever it takes to spark a little more fight today, I hope that they come out and play with that. But yeah, we should make note of the fact that like the reason that whole thing started was Chris gave him a little shot to the ribs there, and he knew Alvarado was questionable with a rib contusion.
That's called gamesmanship.
It's not gamesmanship. That's dirty.
Come on.
That's
hold on. You'll sit here and tell me that unwritten rules don't matter. He can dunk with a second left, but because you know the guy's ribs hurt and you give him a little shot to him, that's not part of that too?
One of these things is not like the other one, Espo.
It is. There's no unwritten rules. If you want to elbow the guy in the hurt ribs,
a 360 dunk, nobody in the way, nobody got hurt, just somebody's feelings, and then right in the ribs. How are these two things equal?
Feelings matter too, Saul.
It's a sport. It's sports. People try to use that stuff all the time.
Oh my god!
Like, come on.
You're endorsing a cheap shot to the ribs right now.
All I'm saying is, I'm not shocked by it. And if you had told me to pick a guy that did it to Alvarado to try to get an edge for the next game, I'd tell you it was Chris Paul.
No, but you called it gamesmanship.
It is gamesmanship. He went, I could get away with this because everybody's paying attention to Zion. And it may make Alvarado think twice in the next game we play again.
Listen,
whatever it takes for a championship.
Espo just really wants a championship. You got to give him a pass sometimes. We get it. We get it. It's okay.
Shake him. I don't care at this
point. Whoa, no.
Hey, whoa. Okay, the game's about to start, so we gotta go.
Wait, real quick. Okay. Dude, we just wanted to say rest in peace to Paul Silas. He passed away today at the age of 79. Played 3 seasons with the Suns, and then I was also assistant with the Suns. I got to one of his 2 All-Star games while he was in a Suns uniform. One of the nicest people you could ever hope to meet. I met him one time. I was fortunate enough to meet him, and he was just like a gentle dude. He was really cool. And I know a lot of people have met him in passing and stuff. And so rest in peace to one of the greats of all time. He will truly be missed.
Yeah, Suns all-time leader in single-season rebounds and season average for rebounds at 12.1. And yeah, like you said, everything I've heard, and I talked to a few people that covered him today, said he was beyond a great human being. So sad loss for the NBA family today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to meet us right back here after the game wraps up. Bye.
PHNX. Hey yo, my lifestyle is retro. Tell the Phoenix Metro. Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though. Lindsay